So we're going to start with our hands on our navel and breathing in. And notice your connections from your navel to the top of your head. So just notice if it just feels like connected, or if you have to sort of trace a channel and find it, or if it's right there. And then from your navel to your tail, from your navel to the tips of your right fingers, from your navel to the tips of your left fingers, from your navel to your left toes, from your navel to your right toes. And then can you feel all those connections active and alive? And take a little walk. And just notice if you still feel all those connections. That's a sort of little pre-check for where you're at. You might notice also any, as you move, is the energy flowing freely in your body, or is there any place where it seems to stop? Any little nodes of pain or tension? And then we'll do our pace. So I'm offering you a goal for the class around connection and integration. And maybe just also swaying your balance onto one foot, closing your eyes if you want, noticing if you can still feel all those connections while you're balancing. And then try the other side. And what is that like? Can you feel all the connections to your navel and the access from the navel to the foot that you're balancing on? Just notice where that's at. Okay, I have a definite difference between one side and the other of my body. So let's go on to our balance, brain buttons. Feeling that connection from the soles of your feet all the way up through your navel to your brain buttons. And I want to just note the gratitude I'm feeling for these skills as I've been rehearsing and struggling with my balance in doing what I did a long time ago. And I started out being really frustrated, thinking, how am I ever going to do this? And I said, well, Dana, use what you know. So shift out of the anxiety, worried, pressure mode to what are our tools. And lo and behold, with patience, it came. And things that I could not do at all a few days ago in the studio, now I can do again. So. Let's do some cross crawls with the way we've been doing. Exhale. I know you're ahead of me, Ruth. You're already there, but here we go. I want to really feel that navel radiation. So as you do this, navel radiation is that connection from our navel to every limb in our body, all our 6 limbs. So as you're reaching out to and feeling that diagonal, do you also feel the connection down to your standing leg, up to the top of your head, and to your tailbone? Feel the energy condensing around the center, around the navel. Feel it expanding away from the navel, really reaching. How far can you make that go today? And condensing back around our navel. Exhale, condense towards your navel. Expand away from your navel. Reaching. I get an incredible stretch just doing this simple cross crawl. Let's do it one more time on each side. Condense, exhale. Expand all the way out. Condense. Change. Condense. Inhale and expand all the way out. Exhale. And down. So the thing is, we started in this class very, working on the balance where all we did was focus on that. Now it's taking that idea of balance and being able to expand out into space, being able to look around us, being fully engaged with the world and maintain our own balance. Okay. Now hookups. And I like to really focus now on the energy from the soles of my feet coming up through the center of my body and out the top of my head. If you want, it's that point right above your ears, which we call GV20. It stands for Governing Vessel 20. It's the energy that comes up the center of your back, up from your tailbone, all the way up at the governing vessel. It's all meridian. So that energy coming all the way up to the top of the head. And when you feel the equilibrium there, change your feet. And find that central channel of energy again. Equalizing the weight on both feet. Making sure you have some weight on the big toe joint. By that, I mean the ball of the foot that is adjacent to the big toe. And going all the way up, out through the top of your head. So we're creating that length again by yielding into the ground with our feet and then reaching with the top of our head into space, creating like elasticity in our bodies. Okay, and then just hands out to the side. And let's see if we can do this way. We're going to allow them to come together. So just kind of wait a little bit and feel the attraction of the fingertips to each other. And when it really happens, it feels almost like a little magnetic pull between them. Kind of cool. And we feel that integration. Continuing to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then we're going to reach up through both arms. Reaching up, feeling the stretch now from the soles of the feet through the fingertips this time. And then down to the floor if you can, or to your thighs. And feel the bow of your back reaching upwards away from your feet and your fingertips. And then back, lengthening long. Inhale up. Exhale down. Press away from the ground. Inhale up. And now let your shoulders drop. So now we're going to do our brain gym for the shoulders and arms. I promised that we were going to do this and then I forgot last week. Okay. So we're going to hold onto one shoulder. Just give those muscles a little massage. So those are the muscles we're going to invite to relax. And then we're going to breathe out and turn to one side. Ooh. And back to the other side. Ooh. And now rolling the head so the nose makes a bit of a semicircle, a half moon. Okay, let that one go. Notice the difference between the two shoulders, and then give your other shoulder a little massage. And then let's do our owl. Ooh. Ooh. Great. Now we'll take a very brief look. I promise you I won't talk much. At Philip. Bye-bye. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good view. So we're looking now today, this time at the shoulders and arms. So remember, where are our arms actually attached to our body? Where is the actual bony joint? Where they're attached.
Under the shoulders. Sure.
Where the arms are attached to our torso.
Oops.
Actually, it's just here. This is the only bone-to-bone joint. These are There's a lot of muscle, like kind of attaching it, but there's not like a bone to bone joint like we have in our wrist or our elbow or our shoulder, but our shoulder is not attached to the body except at the clavicle here. Okay. He's all screwed together. Fortunately, you're not, because there's no bony joint. It's only muscles that attach the scapula. And then the scapula is connected here, and the collarbone is connected to the scapula. So I did that in the wrong order. So here we have the joint here, and attached to that there, you can't quite, I don't want to tilt him over, but the scapula actually attaches here at the acromion. And that then has the joint with the top of the arm bone. Is this making sense to you? Because that gives our arm so much more reach, because this scapula, if it wasn't screwed in here, could actually can slide all over here. And we worked early, about a year ago, with the way that our fingers relate to the scapula and the collarbone. So let's remember, I've often talked about the little finger, right? So the little finger is connected to the base of the scapula. These two fingers are connected along the scapula. I don't remember exactly where. The index finger is related to the acromion here, and the thumb is related to this joint. So when you point, you're pointing right here from where you think your shoulder, most of you thought your shoulder joint is. If you use your thumb, that connects more. You can put a finger here on your collarbone and use your thumb and see how when you press with your thumb, you can actually feel this joint here move. And then put your finger on the other end of the collarbone and point with your index finger and feel the activation all the way through to the collarbone. Then with your little finger, if you can reach back here to the tip, the pointy bit at the bottom of the scapula, and really push with your little finger and rotate around with your finger, you can really feel that reach from the scapula. That's really important, and why I work with have many of these movements in our Qigong. Because that means when we're using that connection, which is also the heart meridian, we are using the back muscles. And when dance teachers often say, you've got to move from your back. But what they really, it's about that connection. So we're refining the connections more in the body. And that allows us more strength for lifting. How many people, I've had in my class, women who are like this from years and years and years of trying to reach up with these muscles instead of having this connection and being able to reach from their back. Does that make sense?
Yep. Okay.
So we're going to enliven that a little bit first by doing the sequences on the floor that we done earlier on in the year. So this will be those arm circles lying on the floor with feeling the diagonal pull. So we really concentrate on that diagonal pull. Now I want, as we do the arm circles, I want you to notice as we turn the arm and reach with a little finger or reach with a thumb, notice how the whole shoulder is moving with the arm. So I will describe it all, and I'm sure your body actually knows all this anyway. So in constructive rest position, we're going to take a moment to allow our bodies to come to rest on the ground, to allow the ground to hold us, and allow our weight to settle onto the ground. And if you need to, I always have to then adjust myself once I settle because I let go of holding patterns. And remember, our structure is in our bones. In this position in particular, we don't have to hold anything. So just give yourself a scan, take a couple of nice deep breaths, and as you exhale, just notice if you can release any holding patterns in the body. So you let your skeleton be the structure, not muscles or tension. And for this sequence, we start with the arms out in a T shape. And you're going to allow both knees to drop to the right side. Now the legs will go, and the knees won't stay together because one leg will drop further to the floor than the other one. And that's the way it is. And then reach your left arm up on the diagonal, opposite the diagonal of the left leg. So you've got one long diagonal there. Take a deep inspiration and exhalation, and just allow that line to reach from your knee, your left knee, to your left fingertips. Then reach your arm over the top of your head, up to the midnight on the clock, turning the palm over, and now leading outward with your little finger as you reach out in a circle beyond your right hand. How far can your little finger reach out? Continuing down in the circle, down, down till you get to your right knee, and then turn the palm over and lead out with your thumb, stretching way out away from the collarbone with the thumb back to that T position and then up to the diagonal. Now we're going to go down in the opposite direction. So we're reaching down, 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 and we're transferring more reach now to the little finger. And as we reach down, we're going to turn the palm over, and we're going to reach out with the thumb this time beyond, reaching from the collarbone up over the top of the head. And palm turns over, reach out with the little finger in a long diagonal, all the way from the knee to the left fingers. Take a couple more deep breaths. Allow your neck to be long on the floor. And then recess, reach the left hip down to the floor, bringing the knees up and your arm out into the T position, and you're back to constructive rest. Take a deep breath here. And as you exhale, drop your knees toward the left. And then reach the right fingers up on the diagonal. Pause and take a breath and release any extra tension you can. as you feel that long diagonal. And then start to reach up over the top of your head, turning the palm over and reaching out with your little finger way, way out beyond your arm. Allow your head to roll on the floor. Reaching the arm out and then down in that curve. Little finger reaching toward the legs. And then turn the palm over and start reaching out with your thumb. Roll the head back on the floor as you come out as far away from the right arm as you can, stretching out to the side, and then reach up on the diagonal. Take a deep breath. And now we're going to reverse that. Reaching down, 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 down with a little finger. And when you reach down toward the legs, turn the palm over as you brush over your thighs, and then lead with the thumb out along the floor, rolling the head along the floor, reaching out beyond the hand, the left hand, and then up over the top of the head, turning the palm over, reaching with a little finger, and finding that long diagonal once more. Make sure the back of your neck is long, released. Nice inhalation and exhalation. Feel the length from the right knee now to the right fingertips. And then press the right hip into the floor, bringing your knees up to the top, and you're back to your T position. Now let's allow, you know, the how we did with the fingers coming together in the integration metaphor when we were doing after hookups. Yes, after hookups. So now imagine those fingers reaching out and up into space, up toward the ceiling, and reaching in a big circle towards each other, keeping as much space in the joints. So reaching out through the shoulder, through the elbows, through the wrist, and the finger joints all lengthening as the fingertips reach toward each other, as if you're coming around a great beach ball or a beautiful cloud. So we've got this big, big circle we're making. We're holding this beautiful cloud in front of us, or whatever you want to hold there, but space. And like a balloon or a cloud that can expand, it's expanding your elbows, so much so that your arms are starting to go to the side again, reaching out with the elbows, keeping the space, reaching away with the palms. And finally, your arms are reaching out to the side in a little bit of a curve. Your elbows are just hovering above the ground. Okay. And your shoulder blades are still wide. Now lower your hands to the floor and your shoulder blades will come in a little bit and drop your hands to the floor. So I hope that was all clear. So now I'd invite you to do the breathing exercise and the imagery of the two streams. So these are the streams that follow the course of the psoas. So they're going to start in your hip joints. So let's remember where our hip joints are. Take your hands to the crease of your thighs, because they're pointed up toward the ceiling. So there's a crease there. And just a little wider than the pubic bones on either side, deep there in the center, that's where your hip joints are. And the psoas muscles actually wrap around the neck of the femur, which is just a little bit beyond that. And then they're going to flow up through the pelvis, coming together in the lumbar spine, and then flow up the sternum, or in a deep valley of your chest, along the level of the sternum, up to your neck, up a little rise, and then back down, flowing away from your body. And your head is rolling like gently, like a beach ball in the water. So as you inhale and as you exhale, that's the flow of the water from both hips together and the lumbar spine up through the deep valley of your chest, up and out beyond the head, and the head is rolling, rolling, rolling. So it's lengthening the back of the neck away from you. And if the beach ball were rolling, so if the beach ball were ahead, the nose would roll in the direction of the mouth, direction of the chin, direction of the neck. But we're not doing anything. We're not turning our head in that direction. We're allowing just the breath and the image to do the movement for us. Another way to think of it is that you have an axle, like an axle on a wheel, but it's a big, really big globe-like wheel. And the axle goes from the middle of one ear to the middle of the other ear. And that's where the head is turning on. So when you have that image of the streams, you're going to follow that movement, the back of the neck reaching around the head to curl the head in and up, like a fern curling in. So the head is going to actually lift off the ground by curling in and then back down again. And you might place your hands on your abdomen to make sure as the head curls, you're not bunching your stomach muscles. They don't have to elevate. They're just dropping into the basin of the pelvis. And the head is curling around, around, around. Come up as high as you like. This may really, and then lower down. So this will probably take a lot of, it'll seem like hard work for your muscles if you're not used to doing this by lengthening the back as the body curls in. It's a much more correct way than doing a regular sit-up to strengthen the core. So we'll do it twice more. So inhale, exhale, follow the streams up through the center of the body, out the back of the neck, curling the head around. You can take more breaths if you need to do this. Curling, 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 curling up off the floor as far as you can, and then roll back down to the floor. Take a resting breath. And one more time, inhale. Exhale, follow those streams, combining together up the center of the body, up beyond the head rolling on the spine, and the whole torso curling, led by the head, curling, 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 and then rolling back down. Okay, take another resting breath. That, if you did it correctly, it's a lot of work. So to relax, we're just going to roll. Are we? No, we're going to review the connection heel to sits bones and ball of the foot to pubic bone. I don't want to forget that. So remember, you can press into your heels and pull as if you're pulling your sits bone towards your heels, and then you can push on the ball of your foot, which is going to push your pubic bone away from your feet. Pull with your heel. Of course, we're talking, and then push with the balls of your feet. We're talking very small shifts here. But just feel that connection, heel to sits bone, and push ball of the foot to pubic bone. And you can alternate that, causing a little rocking in the body towards and away from your feet. Letting that rocking come to rest. Allow your feet to slide down away from your hips. That will lengthen that psoas muscle that we worked on the streams. And then allow your heels to stretch away and your toes to point toward the ceiling, and just do the windshield wipers, rotating the legs from the hip joint towards and away from each other, like two windshield wipers that go together and apart, together and apart, together and apart, together and apart. Okay, and letting that come to a rest. Now we're going to take just a little heel rock, it's going to cause the same kind of shift in your body. So point your toes toward the ceiling as much as possible and have your feet only a couple of inches apart. So if you slid them down and they're kind of wide, your feet, bring them closer together, not touching, but below your hip joints. And then by pointing the toes and flexing the toes, we use our heels as a lever to rock the body. So now the body is sliding a little bit toward our feet and away from our feet. Just a nice, easy heel rock. Notice your breathing. You have nothing to hold. Your muscles are doing work to move the body, to shift it a little bit, but they don't have to hold anything. And your heel is the fulcrum on which your body is rocking. Well, it's one of them. And let that come to a rest. And then we're just going to roll over. So think about how you're going to roll. So maybe put your arms out to the side, so you have a little support. Turn your head to one side, and then roll your body over. Place your forehead on top of your palms, your hands, the backs of your hands. And we're just going to do the rocking of the hips now. So our head is steady. Our head isn't rolling at all. Our elbows too are stable on the ground. Our toes are together, big toes together. And you're just rolling your hips on the floor to loosen up the lumbar spine. Release your rib cage into the floor. Release your thighs into the floor. And just allow that gentle rocking rotation of the lumbar spine. Lubricating all those vertebrae. Okay, now you're going to move your arms into the kind of W position. So elbows theoretically are at the level of the tips of your shoulder blades. On me, that means my hands are sort of on the level of my head, my forehead.
you're going to press into your lower arms and palms as you inhale and raise the head by yielding and pressing into the ground with the hands, and then exhale back down to the floor. So really yield with you're going to bond with the earth to get the support to lift the head off the floor. So you see a little bit ahead of you on the floor and then back down. Really feel the weight of the forearms and the palms into ground, and then you use that gravity to give you the support. This is great tonic for when you have sat too long, especially sat at a computer or writing. Inhale up. Exhale down. Exhale as you yield into the ground with your forearms, and then inhale up. Exhale down. Palms come under the shoulders. Yield into the ground. And by yielding, you're going to push yourself back into the all fours position. And we'll just do a few cat cows. Pressing, being really aware of the pressing into the palms and bowing the back up to the sky. And then reaching with the tail and the head up. And reaching with the head and the tail down, and the back bows up to the ceiling, creating an arch. And then the opposite. Still feeling that support through the palms, all the fingers active. From here, if you feel up to it, tuck your toes under and we'll go into downward dog. Just resting there for a moment. If possible, press your palms into the ground. Press your heels toward the ground as much as possible. And then feel your hip joints flying up toward the sky. And then as you breathe, reground yourself through your palms. Feel the lengthening of the back of the legs. And then imagine again your hip joints reaching up toward the sky. The tail. Another way you could do it is thinking of your tail, lifting up, up and away, back, up and back, away from you. Okay, and then walk your hands back towards your feet and find that pressure again on both palms and the whole soles of the feet, and the spine is bowing away from it. And now take the weight into your feet, let go of your hands, and you're going to roll up by reaching your tailbone down between your legs and starting to stack the spine right on top of each other. As you roll slowly up to standing. And then without having to tense your legs, just press into the soles of your feet and lift the GB point at the top of your head away from your feet toward the ceiling to become fully upright. Now, I oftentimes feel at this point that I need to have a little stretch in the opposite. So
This is like doing the movement for inner direction, pressing into your feet. You can watch the first time. Pressing into your feet, feeling the length up through there, and now you're going to allow that to reach backward high as you keep your weight on the balls of your foot and the whole and the heel. So the whole foot is on the floor, and just reach up and away, stretching the front of the body like a bow, like when you pull a bow, and you're stretching the front of the body, and then come back to upright. And maybe try that one more time. Inhale, reach up with the top of the head and down through the feet to create the stretch on the front of the body. And we're going to do it once more. I'm going to ask you to notice one more thing. We're not flexing our neck. We're reaching long. So the shoulders are down like we did our owl. We got these muscles relaxed long. And remember how we, on the floor, the streams help to lengthen the back of the neck. So as you go up and back, you're still lengthening the back of the neck. We're not doing this. That would pinch the occiput. We don't want to do that. So as the bow goes, this is lengthening up away from you, not down toward the ground. So try it one more time. You can also think of reaching up with your heart. But only to your own capacity. Oh boy, did we spend a lot of time on the ground. Okay. So we're going to do a little bit of Qigong, as much as we have time for, to feel those things. So I will start with a regular opening movement. So now feel all that integration that we've been working on today. All those connections from our navel, all the way out through all 6 limbs of our body. And feeling that space in our joints as we move our arms. Continuing on to the creasings of the legs. Space in our joints as we move. Lengthening the spine, the tailbone reaches downward. GB20 reaches upward. Now we're going to shift our weight onto one leg. And if you can, take the other foot off. It's the same movement, just supported on one leg. We're summoning our inner stork. Back to 2 legs. 2 more creasings with 2 legs, feeling both feet, the connection with the floor. And now we're going to shift the weight onto the other foot, continuing to feel that foot connected to the floor, to your navel, top of your head, all those connections in the body. How do they feel now? How is your balance compared to the beginning of class? Okay, stepping out to the side. We're going to press over to one side, press over to the other side, add the arms. Rainbow up and over, creating that space like we did on the floor. Maybe you're surrounding a cloud each time you reach up and over. Gathering in. Gathering in. Gathering in. Gathering in. Come together. Fountain of energy. Up the center of the body. Can you also feel it up the spine? And now moving on to the rotation. Gathering up and in the sagittal plane now.
Bob, could you pick up the receiver, please?
Okay, meet the arms together, and we come up over the top, curving the body over, and then opening out, reaching up to the little fingers, up over the top, curving the body over, rotating, open the heart, curve up over the top, opening the heart. And reaching out to one side and then the other, keeping the contact with the floor on both feet. And reach up on the diagonal, transferring the weight from one foot to the other with that push and yield to push, yield. Reaching up through the little fingers and thumb, using that connection, shoulders muscles can be relaxed because we're working from the back through those connections. Can you feel the connections now from your navel through all your limbs as we do this movement? Really extending out into space. And coming back in, pressing across. And changing to the rotation from one side to the other. Feeling all those connections to your navel. With the rotation. And we're going to move to a later part of the Qigong. Reaching out to the side. Now we're going to reach out with one arm up over the top and continue to the crease, reaching every time we crease, we just reach further out away through our fingertips. Head is long. Remember that connection from the tip of your shoulder blade through your little finger, up over the top. Other side, arm reaches up and over. Feeling the length on one side and the curving in on the other. Breathing. And then up over the top. And let's just take a couple more in the center. And finish, reaching out and around. Notice the connection from your navel to the top of your head. So this is just for you to notice, you know, if there's any difference from when we started class. Navel to the top of your head. Connection navel to your tail. Connection right to the right fingers. To your left fingers. Navel to your left toes, left foot. Navel to your right foot. Notice your balance on one leg. As you balance on one leg, can you still feel all those connections? Balance on the other leg. Notice your connections. Can you be aware of them? Can you keep them alive? And then take a little walk. And just notice your general sense of connection and integration. So, anybody notice any difference? What did you notice?
I noticed my left shoulder after all the achiness in when I moved it dropped, and I noticed that only when we were doing the last part of the qigong movements of that lateral. Yeah, so there was no, like, it was just yeah, it totally gave up into being able to just move. Yeah.
Super. Yes, Patsy.
My lower back was killing me when we started, but no pain at all right now. So thank you.
Great. Anybody else?
This is off subject, but I've got an appointment, so I have to run.
Okay.
So
Audrey, take
you all
care.
have a good week.
Yep.
All right. Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Patricia, did you have any observations?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I have not been able to be very mobile. My son drives me everywhere I have to go and to doctors, et cetera, et cetera. They still don't know exactly what's going on. But I was able to do a lot of what you did today, modified. And it felt good. Although my back is not happy.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Ruth, did you have anything?
Yeah, I felt broader in my shoulders with the reach. I think my back had spread out more.
Great. Yeah. Yeah, that's part of my personal goals is to keep my body from contracting as I age.
Yeah.
Keep creating space.
Mm.
As I've said before, Bonnie Bainbridge Cohen keeps saying it's all about space. It's all about space. And we do know, that like there is so much space. We think of solid matter, and there's actually so much space between in atoms, in molecules. There is space.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, that was good. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Great.
Wishing everyone a great week.
Yeah.
and to you, everybody.
Mhm.